Welcome back to the Morning Blend. I recently visited Impact's 211 Crisis Call Center. I was shocked to find out that counselors here answer about 600 calls a day, all from people who desperately need help. Impact 211 provides free services to the most vulnerable people in our community.
Today we're beginning a new series presented by Impact 211 featuring different stories of people who's experienced trauma in their community, in our community, as a way of helping you understand who to call when you need help. And please welcome Molly Figueroa-Bates, and she was once homeless and is now a bilingual community resource specialist. Please also welcome John Hyatt. He is the president, Hyatt, the president of and CEO of Impact. Thanks for being here, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
I think this is so important to talk about because 211 is truly a resource that helps so many people. How do you describe trauma? Because I think a lot of people will say, oh, is a sad experience trauma? But there's a differentiation between the two.
Sure, absolutely. So people will talk about being sad or being depressed, which is real. If they're using those words interchangeably, usually it's connected to a particular circumstance. It's more temporary, and people will get over it. Trauma is when a person experiences something deeply disturbing and distressing. It's an event or an experience. What it does is it creates a wound, and then it leaves a lasting scar. And the person is changed because of the event. And then the challenge becomes, how do I live with those changes, and how do I cope with the burden and the weight of that event?
Yeah.
Why is it important with your organization, with 211, that you talk about trauma? Why is this something that people need to understand, do you feel?
I think there's still so many people out there that have experienced trauma, and one of the things that happens is you can feel depressed and you can feel isolated and alone, and it's a strange thing where you start to feel somehow guilty and ashamed. And as more people are starting to talk about their trauma through Me Too movement, through all of these things that are happening, they realize once I talk about it, there's help out there, there's a way for me to get better. And so, yeah, absolutely, call us and we'll help you with it.
Absolutely. And Millie, you've come full circle. You were once homeless. You called 211 yourself. What was the instigation moment for you where you said, this is what I need help. I need to call this number?
Well, I moved to Milwaukee about 9 years ago, and in a situation where I totally thought it was going to go different. And I ended up being homeless on the street in a city where I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And didn't have any friends and didn't know anything. And through some people, I got connected to 211, and they actually directed me to the Veterans Hospital. Being a veteran, they right away told me about it, told me how to even get there, because I didn't know. And that's where it all kind of started changing for me, because I got that connection. You know, I was out there very traumatized because I'd never been homeless.
Right.
I didn't know what to do. And they actually got me straight. You know,
I'm glad you mentioned the trauma, because being homeless, I'm sure, is very traumatic, right? In ways that people maybe can't understand.
It is very traumatizing. You find yourself out there very vulnerable, very vulnerable. You don't know where to go, how to navigate, especially being in a city where I didn't know anybody. I didn't know how to get around. And I was very blessed that I got connected to somebody that actually was very comforting, very compassionate, and talked me through it, you know, and got me to where I had to go and started changing. And even after I got out of the VA, they actually were helping me get settled in my new place, my new apartment, and I had another job, and things started changing for me just because I had that connection and I felt connected to somebody that helped.
Yeah.
So
what a success story. I mean, truly. And now you've come full circle to help others as a counselor at 211. And I'm sure you have found that speaking to others in similar situations, you've been able to help and pay it forward.
Exactly, because I can relate to what's going on in their lives. And the traumas, of course, they're all different levels, different intensity. And we're just out there very, you know, listening ear. And we have the resources to help.
And not judgmental. I think that's a big thing.
Not at all.
When people call in, they know it's a place that they can call. They're not going to be judged for the situation that they found themselves in. They're just going to find help.
And everything's confidential.
Yeah.
So they don't have to worry about anything.
And to think you take on average 600 calls here is just unbelievable to me. And it just, I think, demonstrates how many people in our neighborhood need help, desperately need help, or experiencing trauma. You have an event coming up on August 8th. It's called Higher Ground, the Trauma Epidemic. What will you be doing as part of that event? And people can still get tickets to this.
Well, we're going to be talking about trauma and kind of what it is, and the challenges that people face and how to overcome some of those challenges.
Interesting that you use the word epidemic with it too. Is it an all-time epidemic? Is it greater? Is the need greater now? And are more people experiencing trauma than ever before?
I'm not sure that the number of people experiencing trauma has gone up, but what's happening is people are starting to know it's okay to talk about it. So you have people coming out of the woodwork and coming from all over the place saying, hey, this has happened to me. I understand I can get some help. How can we get started?
It's wonderful. I'm excited to be at the event. I appreciate you inviting me. Meg Kissinger is going to be the keynote speaker at this event, and tickets are still available. So here's the information. It's happening again on August 8th from 5:30 to 7:30. That's a Wednesday at the Wisconsin Club. You can find out more and get tickets by going to impactinc.org. Also, just a reminder that you can call 211 anytime that you need help or someone else. It's easy to remember, so people should remember this number. If you know someone who needs help, you can call Impact 211. The Crisis Call Center is easy to reach, an easy number, like I said, to remember. We also wanted to thank the Bader Philanthropies for making this series possible. We're going to feature other stories in the weeks ahead, too, so we appreciate that support.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your story, Millie.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.